Hey YouTube, Rando here. Today's going to be our second video on SHTF Lighting, or everyday lighting for that matter. Some of these are used every day, well, at least one of them, and it's my EDC light. So the first thing I want to go over on this one is battery operated. It's probably going to be more your short term, or just, you know, if you're bugging out or whatever, something like that. It's going to be aimed more, aimed more towards those than anything, and it's going to be like just your regular flashlights. You can see I keep my flashlights, I keep extra lights or extra batteries on the outside of them, and then what I'll do is I'll rotate the batteries inside of them about every 6 months or so. I'll go through everything that takes batteries and rotate them out. You can use something like that, or something like this would be more like a lantern. This is actually a little work light. It's magnetic, great for like a roadside kit. It'll stick up underneath your hood so you can see what you're doing and have both hands free. You could also use a headlamp or something like that, would be good for a roadside kit. And again, I just keep some extra batteries on the outside of it. We'll rotate those out. Let's see. This, where is it? There it is. This is more, a little bit more high end. You're going to pay a little bit more money for it, but something like the UCO Claris it runs about $22, $20. I've seen them as low as $18. But this can be used as a flashlight, and you could also pull this up and use it as a lantern, so it would be good for like a hurricane kit or something like that. Again, I don't have the batteries taped to the outside of it like I do these two, but this is a flashlight that stays hanging on my wall and on the outside of my pack so I can get to it. So it gets used a lot, and the batteries get traded out a lot, and then I keep spare batteries in my pack for it and spare batteries in my desk drawer for it. That's more if the lights go out, which they do often around here. We live in a refinery town, and the refinery sometimes steals all the juice, so to speak. And the town will go, 3 or 4 hours without power before they get it back on. We have a lot of electrical problems out at our plant, so that's just one of them deals. Something like this takes 4 AA batteries. It's called an Instaball. It does eat up the batteries pretty quick. If you have a generator or something like that, you could actually run it off of a 5-volt adapter. And it doesn't get super bright, but it's bright enough that you can stick this. Great thing about it is they sell this little wall mount with it, and you can, just stick it on your wall where you don't have electricity, like a shed or something like that. And again, this is just going to be more aimed towards short term on these. It's not something you're going to want to use for months on end if ever it was a long term grid down situation. These are going to be the first things that go, because of course your batteries, I keep packs of batteries like this, just odd and end batteries, but eventually this stuff's going to run out and these are going to quit working. So they do sell this one in rechargeable, and it's the UCO, the ARCA, I believe. I may be saying that wrong. It may be something else. I know it starts with an A. And it is rechargeable on a USB port, and that's what I want to talk about next, is rechargeable. This is going to be more medium, and this is again another work light that's rechargeable. It has a battery. You could recharge it on your generator, small power inverter. I know most of us don't have solar systems. Most of the preppers I know don't have solar systems. We just can't afford them. Or it's, up on our list. It's just there's a lot of other things on that list before we get to it. And these are going to be more of your medium range, because you can recharge them, and it's just your rechargeable batteries. This is just a little flashlight I picked up. This is my EDC now. I carry this every day. It's a good rechargeable flashlight. You can recharge it on a, like I said, a power inverter, generator, something like that. But you can also, on this one, you can recharge it with an adapter they give you in your cigarette lighter in your car. So if you just have a car battery, they sell a 12-volt adapter that's got alligator clips on it. You clip it onto a battery, and you can plug anything into it that will work on a 12-volt charger, or, you know, cigarette lighter charger. So this one can be charged a couple of different ways. This one would be a little bit better. This would be more like a lantern, something you, again, roadside assistance kit, home emergency kit. You know, you might want to just hang something like that on your wall next to where you sit most of the time, or put it in a shelf where it's real close, because a lot of times when the lights go out, where you're usually at, lights go out, you don't have nothing to grab right next to you. I usually have this one in my pocket, or sitting on my desk while I'm at my desk, and then this one actually stays in my shelf to where I can get to my totes and stuff that I have full of candles and stuff like that. This one is also rechargeable, and you can recharge it on a USB port, or you can charge this one, it's hand crank. So you would just recharge it with your crank, and this could be used for long term, as well as, you know, your medium range term lights. So it would work well. This is the Dynamo hand crank, costs about 20 bucks, again, not that expensive. It's not real bright, it may not even be charged. So it's not super bright, but it's a bright enough flashlight that in an emergency, when you have it, you have a little bit of light on you. So the next thing I want to talk about, and in the first one I just went over lanterns mainly, like emergency kits. These are lanterns, and it is something that I would use in an emergency kit, but I use these when we go camping as well, so I would use them for bug out as well. It's the UCO candle lanterns, and this one, a little bit more expensive to run. It takes a specialty candle that most people aren't going to have in their kits. I do prep with them. They sell these 9-hour candles. This one's empty because I just refilled my camping pack with candles. But this one right here, it's going to be a little bit cheaper to run. It uses teacup candles, and you could buy a whole bag of teacup candles, like 25 of them, for, you know, $1 or $2. So it's a lot cheaper to use. So this one's more for my home emergency kit. This one actually sits inside of my EDC kit, which gets clipped onto the bottom of my bug out bag in the case we ever bug out. You know, nobody plans to bug out, but you need to have that backup plan just in case. So that's one of the things that I use. When I say my EDC kit, it just stays in my truck with me. It goes camping with me. It goes hunting with me. Everywhere I go, that kit goes with me. So that UCO candle lantern's always there, and it's protected. The reason I don't carry this one in a kit is because it's unprotected. The glass globe here will break, shatter. So this is going to be more of like an emergency kit right here. Maybe just put it on your desk, put it where it's handy, light up your flashlight, get this lit, put it in the bathroom, wherever you want to set it, and you have a good 3 hours of light off one of these tea light candles, and even the cheaper ones will burn an hour, hour and a half. So, alright, what's next? Next is going to be more long term, and just because you can't afford a solar system doesn't mean you can't go solar. You can buy individual solar lights. They sell solar flashlights. They sell these larger Gordon solar lanterns. They make other brands. I suggest you look for another brand. I wouldn't get this one. And you can charge them off the wall. And you can see this one's been dropped enough. It is broke. It still charges by the sun. It still charges by the wall. But the switch is a little finicky, so you have to play with it sometimes to get it going. This would be more long term for me anyway, and these are a little bit more expensive. They run, I want to say right around $20, $25, somewhere in there at Harbor Freight. It's a decent light, but I don't suggest you use it all the time. This one gets used quite a bit, and it gets abused, and you can see it's starting to crack up top, and you know, it's got this entire top broke off at one point when we took it camping. We dropped it and the whole thing broke off, and the little glass globe inside this broke off, and I actually had to tape it back on there. So it's a cheaper lantern. It's not anything I would use if I was bugging out. Something like that wouldn't go with me. It's a little more expensive. You can always buy like the garden lights that are solar powered and use those in your home. You know, set them out during the day, and at nighttime bring them in, and you have small lights that should last you through the night, most of the night anyway. Or you can go and buy these cheap little desk lamps, and it is solar. You see the little solar panel there, and this one actually has a night-day switch on it built into it, so when it's on during the day and it's charging just from the regular light right now. But you would set it in the sun, light goes off. When the sun goes down, it turns on. So, and you can get these for real cheap. These are like $1, like literally $1. The garden lights are a little more. I'm not sure what they cost, but they are a little bit more. But they're not that much more. So that's the way I would go if I was going long term. So let's revisit this a little bit. You're gonna have your short term. You're going to have like your medium range term flashlights or you know, lanterns or whatever. This is what I would consider you know, medium to long term, depending on how many candles you put back. But again, for something like this, you could pick up the lantern for right around under 15, and you can get, you know, 1,000 candles for, I don't know, $20, something like that. You can get a lot of candles, is what I'm saying, for your money, so you have a lot of hours there. And then this would be more long-term, not this specifically, but solar-powered itself would be aimed more towards long-term lighting, in my book anyway, way up from there. So that's going to be it for this one. We'll have another one coming out when we get some more lights together. So be looking out for that video in probably a couple of months or so. Thanks for watching, YouTube.